I'm going to introduce Reverend Dr. Robert Chan.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Robert Chan, pastor of the Baraka Baptist Church, West Oakland section of Philadelphia. Baraka means blessing. I'm glad to be here this morning. As a matter of fact, when you get my age, you'd like to be anywhere. Amen. My friend whom I've known since his childhood days, and that's Malik, but I know him by another name. I know him by, and he won't mind my saying so because I'm his mentor. I know him by his slave name. I won't tell you what that is. So this is Mr. B.
Yep, we named his game thing basketball player. What the?
Just a word about where I hail from in regards to the entry of my brothers and sisters, formerly incarcerated, ones that remain, is that we began an organization called New Wave Resources. It was a weekly program for revitalization, rehumanization, and resocialization. To bring about a sense of dignity and pride to our brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated for a short period and or very long period and extensive period. Members of our congregation have from anywhere from 6 to 25, and now have to be entered. What do they have to do? So this is a new generation, new area of advanced technology and equipping them for their role to access and regain society as a human being who lost their track, but now we're rebuilding a track upon which they can journey the remaining of their life, feel a sense of contribution, and feel a sense of who they are with their family, and respect that they deserve. We all have made our share of mistakes, but I'm grateful for what's called second chance. Anybody here glad for second chance? Yes. Yes. That's what we talk. Our endeavors now have reached higher proportions in terms of how we're working with the federal, state, and local government to bring about a revival and civism for our brothers and sisters saying right here.
I want to introduce another doctor, Dr. Martin Edinburgh from Long Island, New York. We call him the GED Guru, and he has GED programs all around the country that allow working with the young people that need to complete their education, and he's the one that wrote a lot of that stuff. So, Dr. Martin. Okay.
First of all, I'm not a doctor, but they call me professor because I'm a teacher in the consulate of El Salvador in the community. And I never saw my name professor. But now I want you to ask me questions. Yes, I am the voice of GED. I've published over 500 articles. I've been to Philadelphia. I've been to the Home Library years ago, holding a meeting with the director. And while I was waiting for it, great people came in, showed their library card, and took home GED books for free to study with. I have never seen anything like this. I haven't seen anything like it since. You know, of course, people should have free GED books to study from, and they don't have enough books on So if you don't know it, the public library in Philadelphia, you got free books when you have the library. I walk the streets, I've been with Governor Riddell for meetings, but my greatest memory was walking up Broad Street past Temple and seeing a boxing gym under the overpass in Philadelphia. I went across the street and there was one youth in the gym. Big gym, I said, everybody in here? Yeah, they're upstairs, he said. So I went upstairs and I passed the water cooler to go to the secretary's desk, and Marcus Grayson walked right behind me. I said, wait a minute, you're Marcus, aren't you? Yeah. I've seen you fight. He says, you mean you've seen me get knocked down a lot? That's what he said. Within a minute, he said, you want to see Pop? You want to see Pop? I see him? He says, yeah, I'll go get him. In about 2 minutes, Joe Fraser is right in front of you, face to face. It looks like we're going to have a boxing match. I mentioned my name. He says, you're Jewish, aren't you? He says, I love the Jewish people in the Bible. And we sat down and talked. And before I left, he says, do you need to ride back to your car? You know, I want you to be safe. I said, I'll be all right, I'll be all right. So he was taking care of me. One of the most beautiful meetings that I've had, among the great meetings that I've had. And I wanted to be in Philadelphia more. Now this guy, Malik, you know, I called him years ago. Because I read about him in the newspaper, and that's the way that I work. I see things in the newspaper, I'm active. So years later, a guy who was with Malik going to Barack Obama, with a group of people. Wayne says, Bonnie, call Malik. So I said, okay, I'll call him again. And Malik says, of course I remember talking to you. How many people have called you to talk about GD? Right? I'm in. I'm the only one in the world that does. So I have a record in GD longer than you're on. But like I said, I want you to interrupt me. You know, I want you to ask questions. If you want, even if you can look at we have Wi-Fi here. Look at the annual statistics for GD for the 50 states and Puerto Rico. Look at the breakdown since 2008 for white people, Asians, Native Americans, Latinos, and African Americans, and see where the big failure in education has been in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in Brooklyn, and other places. Okay? One last quick thing. Like I said, interrupt you whenever you want. Okay? I called Michael Bloomberg on the radio, on his radio show with John Gambling, and I said, how did we get into GED testing seats faster? He said to me, Martin, they come from dysfunctional families. You can't get them to go to class. But at the same time, in Dallas, Texas, the Justice Department has 900 gang members studying for the GED with a grant of $20 million to help you. Hello? You see what happens when people in government are ignorant and they put out the same message all the time? It hurts. It hurts New York. It hurts Chicago very badly, and Philadelphia is going to catch up soon. Following will be on Facebook. So it's a pleasure. I'm also the author of this book, Forget About It, the Educational Solution. There's a chapter on Michelle Alexander's YouTube called. There's a chapter on Jonathan Kozel, the great sociologist from Harvard, who went into the South Bronx, saw how everyone was suffering, 10% graduation rate, hardly anyone had jobs, and they don't mention teaching. For all those people who got that. That's where my passion comes from, the knowledge comes from, all of it. We could change it right here in Philadelphia today. All of us know we can go. Okay, thank you.
The next panelist is a young man that I recently met, a couple of years ago, from Brooklyn, New York. I was very impressed with his programming that he since being released, and where he's at now. He wrote several books and he ran Q.
Thank you very much, Malik. Everybody, I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here, take part in this panel, and hopefully, during these discussions, I'll be able to add something to this conversation that we can all walk away from and know that we're all walking in the same direction when it comes to reentry. Give you a little background about myself. I've spent probably over 33 years of my life trapped in the revolving door of the criminal justice system. From the age of 17 to 51, I was involved in the criminal justice system in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it was probation, parole, jail, prison, going back and forth to court, running from the police. You know, I've spent a large portion of my life in this system. It wasn't until August of last year that I was finally, after 33 years, free of any correctional supervision and commitment. My last stint, I did 15 years in federal prison. I came home and that was followed by 10 years of supervised release. So I was still incarcerated, but I wasn't physically incarcerated. What I've dedicated my life to since my incarceration and coming home is to help people who are incarcerated figure out how they can stay out once they get out. This whole phenomenon, I'm going to call it, and what we've been getting about reentry has only been coming like popular in mainstream society over the last 5 or 6 years. But those who have been impacted by incarceration, through family members, through our own personal journeys, we know about reentry from the time we get involved in this lifestyle, or we get caught up in the system, or we have our loved ones in the system. Reentry is something that we have to understand that people need a lot of different avenues and resources to help them successfully transition back to society. Not only transition back to society, but to stay and become a functional, productive part of society. When we get caught up in the system and we have this like, almost like the scarlet letter on our back that we have to wear forever. You know, hopefully through these discussions, the work that each of us are doing on this panel and the things that we're doing with our own personal lives will show society that, you know, just because we make the steps, that doesn't have to be how we're going to live the rest of our life. What I've done, I'm the founder of Reentry Strategies. It's a company that creates reentry programs, solutions, workshops, interactive media to help people that are incarcerated prepare for getting out. What I found when I was incarcerated, I don't know how it is in all different city, state facilities, but when I found when I was coming home, I wasn't given any substantial help to prepare for getting out. And that's just the plain facts. They had this thing called, I forgot what it was called, but it was reentry something, and you had to attend it 6 months before you go out. But it was a shame, because you can go, sign your name, and then go to the work wait house. There was no accountability. There was nobody even coming in that can connect me to the experiences or the challenges or the obstacles that I would face once I made it back to society. So re-entry wasn't really taken seriously. And this, you can see why so many people came back. So during my 15 years, the last 5 years of my incarceration, I almost did like the study of people who came back. Because I see a lot of guys come back. I see a lot of guys go home. I see a lot of guys come back. And I would talk to them and I would ask them, why did you come back? What was the reason? Because I want to know, you know, to be able to look out for those same reasons once I got out. So it's almost like I did a study of this, and that's how my work started in this reentry field. And I penned a book called Changing Your Game Plan, How I Used Incarceration as a Stepping Stone to Success. So I took all of those experiences, I took all of my experiences in my growth and the challenges and the work that I had to do on myself, and I put it together in a way that can set the blueprint for other people that will be coming behind me. This is the book, Change Your Game Plan, How I Use Incarceration as a Stepping Stone for Success. I'm not really here to promote the book. I'm here to promote the programs that have come out of this. Change Your Game Plan is now a program for people to walk them through the step-by-step process of change. I hear a lot of talk in the reentry field. I hope I'm not taking too long. You hear a lot of talk in the reentry field about getting people employment and housing and these things, which are very important, but there's not a lot of talk about how to teach people how to keep a job, or how to budget their money to keep an apartment, or how to go about having that fiscal responsibility and prioritize on the things that they need to do in order to function in society. There's no speak about how to teach people how to have a relationship with their employer, to understand the dynamics of all of these different relationships. We talk about just a lot of times family relationships, but in society, there's so many different relationships that people have to understand. That's one of the projects and programs that I've created. I've created another program called Beyond Prison Probation and Parole, where we feature people who have successfully transitioned back to society and showing the lessons and the things that they've learned and how they actually went on to become successful entrepreneurs, business people, higher education, a whole gamut of different things. And just to wrap it up, I go anywhere, everywhere that I'm asked or invited to come and speak about this reentry issue. But for me, I think we should be focused on pre-entry before they come out. You know, there's a lot of resources when you get out, but we have to talk about working on people while they're there and what they need to do to properly prepare for getting out. And then once they get out, everything else is almost like aftercare to make sure that they're connected to the resources that can further their successful transition back to society, their community, and their families. Thank you very much.
Next round.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelvin. Are we still recording?
Our next panel was a longtime friend of mine who is very active in women's issues, around these issues of prison and reentry. She's based over in New Jersey. The name of her organization is Women Who Never Give Up. So I'd like to introduce Gail Muhammad.
Women Who Never Give Up was founded in 2005 after the death of my husband, who died in a prison. You know, people say they're always innocent, but he was innocent, and unfortunately, the courts rendered the verdict just a bit too late. But at the end of the day, it sparked the, you know, they say when you suffer a trauma, you fight or you flight. I know punk, so I know, you know, and I can say that I'm listening to the panelists and everybody talking about reentry, and I've been at this game for so long that I would like to see the language change to no entry. And how about us keeping our kids from going to prison in the first place, and shutting the door down and ending the school to prison pipeline, because that's what's funneling the prison industrial complex. And I have been doing this for over 20-something years at this point. And I want to say I've been working with a lot of women who are returning citizens, and I'm finding that is just, it's worse, because for women who are returning home, there's no resources for women. And the gender problems that women face inside the prison, nobody's helping them on the inside. And I find that we have just sort of dropped the ball when it has come to women. And so I'm here today to talk about the women who are coming home from prison. And the reason the women went to prison in the first place is because they took our men out of our homes. And so this is, to me, not a new it's not new for the African American because we've been split from the time we came off the ships, crossing the passageways. And so we've got to me, wake up in our communities as women. I believe that the women is the first teacher. We teach you from the womb to life. And there comes a point in time that we have to go back and remember that the woman is the first teacher. And I'm feeling myself as rounded out, so I'm hungry, my stomach is on my back, my spirit is high. And I want you all to know that I do believe that when women take control, that we're going to see change. Because we wear so many different hats that we can bring our families back together again. And so I think that there's more need for panels like this with women involved. And I thank my brother for remembering that this woman in Jersey never gives up. And not only are we in Jersey, but we're in Washington, D.C. I'm a founding member of the National Council of Formerly Incarcerated and Currently Incarcerated Women and Girls and Families. And I was allowed to sit among these wonderful women because of the work that I've been doing in our communities for the last 27 years. And I tell you that there's a movement in the country that is just really igniting my passion after 20-something years and almost 60 years old. I'm a little burned out and tired, but watching the movement of women saying, you know what, we're tired. Yes, we're coming out of our homes. Some of us have been in prison, some of us have not, but the ones that have been in prison definitely deserve a second chance to be welcomed back into our communities and their families, and that's the problem. Women come home from prison, the first thing they need is their babies, and there's no help in that capacity of helping bring women back with their children or providing adequate housing for them to come home and reconnect with their babies. That's the start. And so I urge us to continue these roundtables and conversations. And I also would like to see us as activists come together under one umbrella across the country. Because this field that I've been working out of with my brother here, and we're almost 30 years in this game. And the people that are running the reentry programs that are being funded don't look like us. And they are from formal nonprofits. And they've been a part of the Department of Corrections and now are retiring with another salary that's coming out of federal funding and state funding that should have gone to us on the grassroots level that have been doing this work for 30 years. And so we're not getting the funding they are, and I think we need to change the landscape. And those of us that are activists need to call it new entry because we've got to separate ourselves from re-entry, because who's running re-entry has been running these prisons, the law enforcement and the professional correctional professionals that have retired from their jobs. So I'm
next facilitator, that cool guy down there. I've known for many years. Actually, he was one of the first legislators to come into Greater Newark Prison and speak with the residents there. And ever since then, we've been on the issue of reentry, on the issue of pre-entry, correct criminal justice reform, just all those issues. Very, very, very good man. He also founded a member of Men United for Better Philadelphia. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ron Ward.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your kind words and work that we are undertaking today. The assignment that we all here signed up for is very important. See back there, folks are saying June is re-entry work. And we don't have to wait till June to get on the issue. They don't have enough people every day. 360 as a matter of fact. So, but I'm glad that we're here today to talk about, and also glad to hear the comments that have been made from the other panelists who are here. I'm glad to be sitting amongst those great people who have done their homework on this issue and still with the passion about it. appreciate the fact that there's some diversity. Because this issue is something that, in order for us to get the attention of people who can make a change, they don't just need to see one population of people asking for demand change. As a former legislator, I had served for 16 years. Something I learned very early in my time as a state rep is that a lot of people are very serious about waiving legislation about what they did on tough on crime, what they did to capture more people for these new offenses. And a lot of times there are new offenses, and many times people usually don't know about these new offenses. But when they go before court, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. We found a lot of people that decide that, well, rather than a person doing 2.5 to 5 years for this crime, then let's make them do 5 to 10 for the crime. But I really believe that, and that's why I talk about diversity, because we as taxpayers have to be real smart about what's going on here. And start saying, 2 to 5 is cost effective right there. There's money involved with that 2 to 5. Now you want to double it. So now that's even twice as much cost associated with it too. And as we have noticed since about the year around 1970, up until now, Pennsylvania has about 7 state correctional facilities. Then they went up to about 27 state correctional facilities. And they went from about 7,000 inmates to about 52,000 inmates. And there's a demand for more prisons. And while I was there was legislation that was asking to have a prison built in their district. It became more of a natural thing. So for me, coming from, I feel like it's explicit, but coming from the hood, let me say, right from West Philadelphia, I noticed, a lot of my friends are missing, my buddies are missing from the streets. And when you see him, a couple of years later on, you say, man, I ain't seen you in a while. So I say that when we look at prison population going from 7,000 to 52,000, we don't feel really safe on the streets. So obviously what we are doing is really costing a lot of money. And to the, what Bill said, the separations that take place with this, taking the man out the household, and now the women population growing very quickly. And you start looking at this and saying, how are we being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers? And what are we doing is taking people off the streets, locking them up, taking them from maybe where they were able to employ, and locking them up, taking them to where they might have been a good parent in the household, and separating them from their children. Knowing that children of incarcerated parents are 7 times as likely to go to jail as other people, what are we creating? What are we creating? And I saw this legislative when we update fighting for more funding for public education, and knowing that education has a bad education has a direct correlation between that and people who end up in prison justice. And we really was in my argument up there, and used to get in trouble, was that we really was about safety and public safety, and we should be investing money in the front end rather than investing money on the back end. If we really care about victims, then how come we're not taking time to make sure that people stay out of trouble? Don't go and break it into someone's house. Don't go knocking up somebody's house. So people who know better will do better. So why don't we invest in these children rather than looking at their third grade test scores to find out how many cells we need to build in the future, rather than rushing resources to these children so that they can get the help they need if we really care about America, if we really care about Philadelphia, if we really care about Pennsylvania. Why are we not investing tax dollars properly? I don't think there will be an argument if we had safer streets. I I don't think there will be an argument if we had people gainfully employed. But when people have these criminal records, and that also something that came from a lot of the lawmakers. A lot of the lawmakers came up with these legislation that you can't work here, you can't have housing here, okay? You can't, you don't qualify for certain programs. What are the persons supposed to do that's been locked up and separated, but as fast as the fastest things are changing in the world come out, and now things have changed so much, and now they have a felony. Now they have a record that denies some employment. So for me, as a legislator, I saw that I can't just be a part of doing things legislatively because that is going to be a shift that takes time to turn. Public perception is where the pressure is. To make the public demand of their legislators to spend their taxpayers' money wisely. And why aren't we creating a better life opportunities for people rather than gaming or gambling on the fact that if they're failing at this level, then we could build prison when they reach this point. That has to take place with also people who are incarcerated coming back into the community. And I believe in the role that they play, like this young man right here, and he's absolutely right. Pre-entry, not re-entry. You have to take resources to the brothers where they are and the sisters where they are, because they're going to come home. 90% of the people incarcerated will come home in Pennsylvania. And in some parts of the nation, even a greater number of people will be coming home. So knowing that, what person do you want coming out and moving next door to you? So we have to figure that out. Taxpayers have to figure that out. But we got to say, well, let's go this way. That's why I decided to shift a lot of my attention into going walking with a group of men right now. Malika Aziz knows about this very well too. But we used to go there with the former Commissioner Professor Johnson, working with the Public Safety Initiative up here. And so out of that, there's been a lot of good initiatives that came from SCI Rayford, one of the maximum security facilities, the fifth largest in the nation. Group event that I work with called UCAN, National Community Action Network, where they had old school, new school call back in 2007, where the men in there, some of the toughest of the people who ever went inside the prison system, asked me to help them put on that event. So they said, look, Red Waters, you look very nice in your suit tie, but you're telling people not to do something that might not go as far as us telling people not to do something. So we put on a call out event, took place at Community College, Philadelphia on January 15th, which happened to be Martin Luther King's birthday. And in the year 2006, it was 406 homicides in the city of Philadelphia. And in the first 14 days of January 14th, there was already 26 homicides. When they got on and did this call out, speaking to the people at Community College, the people brought children in, mostly children, Kyle Center brought children in, people brought in children from the neighborhoods and all, they came in there and heard this message. And folks don't sue. Now, what are you going to do and stop this foolishness? Because if you don't stop, you will end up being a weed. And they made that call out, and after that call out, we remember this, there was no homicides in the city for about maybe 10 days. The homicides went away. We needed to have some calls, but it went away. It was a period of free, and we need some more periods of free. I want to thank those men and great for stepping up to the plate, putting aside their tough guy image and decide to make sure they send with their tough guy image a correct message out into the street to challenge the men out here to do something about helping these children who are challenged. And then they had another event called the Old School Youth Call Out, where we go into the schools to talk to the children. And in the auditorium, in the assembly room, where the guys are talking by way of telephone on speakers to tell the children about the social pitfalls that led to their incarceration, try to teach the children how to avoid those social pitfalls. We also had the Squash the Beat, because we know a lot of the fights that take place in the streets, or because there are people who don't know how to settle arguments. We used to settle them differently. Now we settle them with a gun or a knife, okay, or some other kind of violent way. But before a fair everyone was on the tour. Whoever won, won. All right? They don't do that anymore. Okay? And it caused a lot of pressure for the police department too. All right? Because they can't deal with this stuff. And we asked the cops to settle this stuff. We gotta settle this stuff. Okay? We gotta settle this stuff. And we also have now a very great program that I'm very proud of called Fathers and Children Together. Fact. We believe that because the men have been separated from the children, and maybe just get the traditional visit, which anybody who's been in a visiting room knows that when the father, when the mother comes up and brings the child, many times the father who's been inside for a long period of time, when the child is there, the child might not get enough attention. Many times that man is talking to mom, like, hey baby, what you doing? You still wait for me? Or I called you the other night, nobody picked up. There could be a lot of questions that go on, a lot of entertainment that goes on between the parents and the child was around when it comes to that. So what the men side has decided was how do we separate that distraction and bring the children up there without the mother to come to have a special visit with the father. So the father, no matter what his circumstances is, can still be a father in that child's life. And we do that with your hearts and a host of other people, clinical psychiatrists and all. We go up there and we make sure that these fathers understand this is still your responsibility. And it's your responsibility at least to show that child love, make sure that child, and apologize to the child for not being in their life and not out on the street, and to let that child know, don't make the same mistakes that I made, and the bond. And this is a great template because if these guys decide a greater for us to do that, and they are locked up, and there's no excuse for the men out here not to do at least as much. Because I really believe that many of the problems that our community is dealing with, the bills that our children are dealing with, is because of too many fatherless households, and not enough men stepping up to the plate. So with what they're doing, they're setting up an undeniable template. And most of these men who have been in this program, matter of fact, all of the men who went through this program have come home and got a job and taken care of their families. They ain't coming home to be vetoed. They come home being born to father. They come home, and we believe that if a person comes home with that commitment to their family, at least when it comes down to their child, they will do the right thing. They won't want to come home and try to impress them, the boys or corny, or they want to come home and be a father for their child. That has been a very good reentry tool, even though it wasn't necessarily designed for reentry tool, but it has that benefit that comes along. So to what's your name? Randy. I believe you. That's why as a legislator, I decided to go into the prison, meet these brothers where they are, and see how we can work together. And I met some incredible men in there, in the UK organizations that decided that they want to pay their debt back to society, not by serving time, but by doing something positive to stop this trend. So that's pretty much what I want to say right
now. Who I've known since I was a young boy, out there crazy, outside Philly, and West, and Germantown, and Franklin. All right. But and many that's why I got locked up. But we work together with the Mayor's Office of Community Services, the Sultan Ahmed, and looking good, and Lindell, down the street. But in any event, I want to introduce you to real good friend of mine, Reverend Anthony Stevenson, and he's going to tell you about his, what he's doing to help the interned citizens coming out of prison and young people.
For the former state representative, it's $22 for the suit.
It was in the mail.
Yeah, I thank God for y'all giving me the opportunity to be there and to talk for a minute. I'm so happy I'm seeing one of my mentors sitting here, And they taught me to say, who is Reverend Anthony Stevenson? Well, as I said, he's now the pastor of Brooklyn Crusade Black Community Church, the owner of the Sharkey Clothing Company over 50 years. I guess I would call myself sitting by the face of ministry. I'm sort of the face of the fatherhood movement, which was established in 2001 under administration of John Freeman himself, which I was one of the master trainers and facilitators that we established across the city. Once upon a time, we had fatherhood sites, Green Street, Almy Avenue, 58th Street, 21st Street, 20th Street, 17 taxi around that Broad Street, Oganis Avenue, Frankfurt, you name it. And so as I was sitting here, and I know the fellow beside me, will appreciate this, there's a scripture that says, he that takes care of his own, especially those in his own household, has denied his faith and his word from infidel. In other words, he's not a believer. So I think of everything from a PSM perspective, philosophically, social, and material. And I'm listening to us, and that's what's happening here at this table today. I've been a part of a great program sister here today, Search for Fatherhood, who has not only myself been able to take the fatherhood movement locally, nationally, but internationally. I spoke to 38 nations about fathering for peace. And why? Because if there's no peace in the home, there's never going to be peace in the street. And so one of the demands that we were given were father and mother. I don't like to deal with women and men. I like to deal with fathers and mothers. And the reason why I deal with fathers and mothers, although they're women and men, is because fathers and mothers are no longer looking at themselves, but they're looking at the third party or the sixth party, which is the children. I gave you all my master training. My big thing is that I've been a husband for 50 years. It took 2 marriages, and I'll be celebrating 44 years next week. A father for 52 years. I've been a son for 70 years. How y'all like that? and so the key was the healing of the boy and the man and the son and the daughter inside of the woman and inside of the man. And when you can work on the healing of a person, then they're easier to help. Because hurting people, what? Hurt people. And so after 22 years of being in the fatherhood movement, I've been blessed, and this brother on my right, here's a guy here that went across the street here 200 months ago, and he didn't get back for 22 years. And came out, and I brag about it because when you graduate from your own program, you're almost like the inventor of Benjamin Banker or some of those other people, because now you know it works. You know what I mean? Because you made it work. So what I've been doing is building fathers and mothers all across the nation. Over 5,000 young men came through the program under the street administration. We did a little bit with Mike. He had another direction he wanted to go as far as the civil government. I deal with it in 5 capacities. I have what's called a mall, because I'm been a sales all my life. So I put together the civil and corporate community, the consecrated group, and the global marketplace. Because if you don't put that all together, like we live in a house, we live on the block, we live on the street, we live in a neighborhood, connected to a city, connected to a state, connected to a country, connected to a world. And so with that kind of a mindset that I've been able to have, I haven't been able to do that by myself. I've been able to do that because I connect with people that know what they're doing. The greatest cure in my home coming up was a pot soup. And the reason why it was a cure because when my grandmother and mother put it together, that was it. The one thing I realized besides behind the walls, as my brother just spoke, the father has to take his rightful place. But if you don't know his rightful place, when I came up at 15th and Christian, Kenny and I, we don't talk about this. there was a barber shop. And at the end of the day, there were men standing there. Tommy and Junior, cut your hair, and Marcus Foster and what's called coming down from the school, and Slim and them from the waterfront, and Mr. Clint had the numbers, and Mr. Westcombe had the Risky House, but they were all on the corner. And the preacher, he lived in the neighborhood. You could touch him, you had a hand on him. So as a boy, you saw opportunities. One of the things I do wherever I go is I apologize to my sisters because we left you in such a bad position. First, we left you spiritually, and we left you mentally before we start bothering you physically. So the first thing we have to do is come back and utilize the strength that we have as mothers and fathers. And what's good about being a mother and father? You never have to participate in procreation to be a father or mother. You become that as you access. So what am I saying to us today? I'm saying that Malik, who I've seen come from behind the wall, I've done a lot of time with my partners from behind the wall. But they had me cross the street 39 years ago, behind the wall. Because when we organized in the city of Philadelphia, we were organizing with folks that we were trying to make a movement. It shifted because of drugs and some other things, and it became the wrong kind of movement. I'm also the consultant and the recruiter for whatever existing programs that are in the community. I'm as much as part of FACTS as I am. We started Men United on my birthday. I'll never forget that, January 2nd, up in West Palm. So I'm much part of the work that Reverend Shine does. Listen, one thing about me, I have a Walmart mindset. You know, ladies hear that? Walmart has what? Everything in there, right? Because they have an aisle for everybody. And that's I believe, the biggest thing we can do now is realize, as my sister was saying, I ran up and down King Avenue like I ran up and down South Street. Ain't nothing to do with me. Dr. Grimm, that was my man. Gretchen Wake was American. People there, that was my food. Poppy Sharp, we were locked in with each other in this little tri-state area. Because we had to go to Meadowbrook and dance on Sunday night, go to Over the Top, and go to the long side and watch. We had to find a way to work together. So I believe that the greatest thing we can do, and if you don't mind me using, my sister Diane Sears has a so-called Search of Fatherhood. And the Search of Fatherhood is the key thing, because my mother in the room, all of y'all women are my mothers, they know her. But without my mothers having the assistance of the father, then we're trying to operate against the Creator. And we're not talking religious, but I do know this one thing. One book that sells real good is that Bible. Another book that sells real good is that dictionary. So I always tell somebody, get definition and get terms. And so with my philosophy talking PSM, philosophical, social, and material, is what I've been blessed to be a part of and I've been blessed to do. But I haven't done it by myself. I always had others. And as I was reading one of the books the other day, I'm glad I'm still in a position where I can be rebuked and recommended. So I can keep growing. And one thing about fathering and mothering business, which I developed a program called a movement called Let's Be About the Father and Mother Business. I'll get increases your involvement. It makes you become more consistent. It has you become more aware, and then you can nurture. And so that's some of the elements that we have. But everybody here, I want you to know, you're valuable. You're extremely valuable, and it takes a fellow like Malik. You know why we're here with Malik? All of us trust him. And I learned something just a week ago with me and my wife. You know what disrespect starts at? When I don't trust you. I gotta trust you. So I was so trusting the Lord. So if I trust in God and I believe no weapon formed against me will prosper, I have to keep moving. Because there goes I accept the grace of God. I'm sitting here today, and yes, re-entry ex-offenders, returning citizens. Let me just give you this analysis, and then I'm gonna thank you for the time. I was riding one day around City Hall, and I went by 13th and Gilbert, and the line was all the way around the block. So when I looked, there was nothing in the line but mothers and their sons going into the criminal justice center. I turned the corner at Lord and Arch, and there was another long line. It was young brothers, sisters, the Latinos mostly, and a few Caucasian. They were all ready to go to probation and parole. But then I turned the corner at 16 and Calville, Shine. There was another long line. And that line was a line waiting to become citizens of the United States. And I said, wow, when I was in school, now nobody gave me a citizenship class. Because people are trying to learn how to be citizens in America. I know we came in changed, and I know that. But I believe that one of the areas that we really need to revisit is even how to become a citizen of the United States of America. So you will know your rights, you will know whatever it is that everybody else is fighting to get. And as I said, nobody's in that line. But my whole thing is, in a nutshell, is being about the mother and the father of duties, which on Saturday, down at 17th Passage, for those of you that can get down there, Tracy Fisher will be there with me on the entry part. I'll be there to share some more information about the father's business and offer some opportunities as I'm a consultant for the Project Dad program, actually helping establish it. And now they got all the resources for this program, but they only still got a program. I said, listen, you can put signs on buses, you can put signs and whatever, but we got to spread it more than what it is. But what the government likes to do, like she said, since I was doing fine in business for profit, I got nonprofit business and I've been starving ever since because they keep you there. But what we have to do is remember God has already given us the resources that we need. Let's just take our time, 60, 70, 80, and 90. We're tired, we're not tired now, but we can consult and we can advise. And the next time we have one, we have a panel of young people before they go to jail that'll sit in the panel. And then we become their consultant, we become wise counsel. And I'll tell you something I've heard. I haven't met a young man yet that didn't want to be better at fathering, especially if he didn't have one, especially if his father deserted him, especially if his father mistreated his mother, especially if he was in prison with his father. I can show you that in black and white. Because I have an advantage over him. You almost told me. I said, this is Reverend Stevenson. When I finished with it, they said, man, you're double OG. So you been there. And so I'm excited about this here. But remember that, by my faith, he created man, he created him male and female, he created them. And we just gotta remember them. We're better at them than we are at them. Thank you.
Ms. Terry? Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna have a performance right now by Terry. You're gonna sing a song called Power.
Excuse me, Robert Wilbo passed away. I'm on my way to his service at Rainbow. Okay?
All right.
But I'm not gonna perform the song that I was gonna perform because I had to track two weeks and had to pay the track on it. But I am gonna do a poem. I believe that if you go to the in order to succeed, to go to the next step, you have to to have a fighting spirit. Not a violent spirit, but a fighting spirit. And my fighting spirit comes from God. And I also believe that an artist has to have a community mind. A real artist